I started talking about it, going to conventions and talking about it, and I started dressing in a white suit with a white top hat, and usually it's just a red turtleneck. Then I turned into various shades of vivid colored shirts and wild ties. And someone finally said, if you're interested in magic realism, what do you think about you're Mr. Magic Realism? I'm going like, yeah, that's not bad. I don't know who suggested that, but it works. It works. Part of it, you dress in a white suit and you stand out like that, and you do call attention to yourself, and the writers kind of got to do that. But also, if you're going to stand up and call attention to yourself like that, got to make sure that when people follow up on you, that they like what they're going to read.
Right.
So I'm hoping that I touched on that.
It was coined for you by your peers.
I think that's what happened. Yeah, we just got to talking about it and recognized my interest in magic realism. I talked about it and going, yeah, okay. And magic realism, by the way, I should mention, is very similar to some of the work that Bradbury wrote, but more often associated in this culture with a lot of the episodes of The Twilight Zone and Serling's work. And also has an awful lot to share with lucid dreaming in terms of vivid imagery, in terms of the sense of actually having a reality that truly feels like reality itself. Of course, it's not, but when you're in it, the only thing that seems strange about it is that when you come out of it and you see all the weird juxtapositions of reality and all things mixed into that, when you step back and look at it when you're awake, it's weird, but when you're in it, all the strangeness that's going on is seen as part of reality, and therefore not seen as strange. And that's a lot of writing coming out of South America is very similar to that.
Right, you don't question it during the dream.
Right.
You're a part of it, and I think that has to do with the symbols that are in our dreams.
Yeah.
That's why we recognize it,
Yeah, that's it.
But talking about your peers, you've mingled with a lot of award-winning talent. I mean, not just Brian Herbert, Terry Brooks, Jack Cady, Robert Silverberg, who, Dying Inside, I'll stand by that book all day. How flattering was that for them to just give themselves over to you in the first few pages of Metamorphosis Blues? How humbling was that experience?
To be associated with... Oh, there's another long story.
Go ahead.
It was, it's always humbling. It's always humbling to be regarded in that light, and yet, anyone pursuing an artistic career for whatever reason, conscious or unconscious, there's always things that one's going to encounter about how one can perceive oneself belonging to such a realm like that. What I'm talking about is, I'm talking about a marvelous book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Says that, when you get out there and really do your stuff is going to surface. That's always the test of your talent as a creative person. Reveals whatever issues surface in your background that have to do with just how much permission you had to have power when you were a kid and to be creative, because it always surfaces stuff. It's like love always surfaces that which is not love, and that's very true. And so as I became more and more associated with these luminaries, stuff from my background was surfacing, and it kind of really comes down to a background that is oriented toward PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and it had to do with doing some sabotage, had to kind of getting in my way. Not that I was consciously doing so, but people do stuff like that because they feel like somehow it's not really okay for them to have power, or there's stuff coming up in the background that has to do with a sense of feeling safe with one's power or safe with one's talent.
Now, do you mean there's people that felt threatened by your rising star? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean one is threatened to oneself by one's power. Very different. Oh yeah, very, very different. So I became, that means all sorts of therapies, and now I'm working through stuff with this PTSD stuff. But this is where the writing has led. This isn't about my issues as, someone who has problems, as the rest of the human race doesn't have problems. Yeah, right. Okay. It's about when you really go for what you want in your life, stuff surfaces in one's background. And, it's the energy and the endeavor that one takes to move through this that says, am I willing to do what's necessary to absolutely honor and own my talent no matter what? Now, if you're not willing to say yes to that, you'll never know who you could be or what your talent could be. You just never know.
That is very inspiring words.
It's true. And as I've done this, more and more things have happened that have just been just out of left field, meeting people I never would have thought I could meet, being in situations that have just been amazing. And it really has to do with clearing your energy to create as goof-proof a path to your power as you can possibly have. A goof-proof path. That means you gotta go and you gotta do some archaeology taken. And I've seen it happen to so many people that they have started to achieve a level of interest or fame or fortune, and then, quote, something happens. And they disappear, they vanish, and some people call it fear of success, which is basically a fear of failure. And I just, made a decision long ago that, not for me. I think I'm going to do what I need to do to be the best that I can be, and to be the best that I can be, and to be the best writer that I can be means these things go hand in hand.
So fear of success and fear of failure, because neither one is determined when you're first getting started, they are the same thing. That's a very strong idea.
Yeah, and you don't really know it until you really start moving to your power, and then it surfaces. And and the book, like I said, the book that really talks about this stuff, that I would recommend to any artist, is The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I think that's the best guide to what to expect in terms of what it is to be an artist in a mercantile society, where so much of what we do appears to be attached to, your worth in terms of dollars and cents, of what kind of market you can create and how much money you're worth and all this stuff. It has nothing to do with art. I see more people try to move in the direction of what they think is going to be the next bestseller, only to spend all the time and energy to turn out stuff that they didn't really want, and only to have the market not there, and spend a lot of time basically pursuing something that's not really theirs, really. It's kind of sad, but that's kind of the way the market works.
Right. So your anthology, Whitewater Quartz.
Yeah.
You worked with Bradbury on that, and Ursula K. Le Guin. Who else?
Yeah, gosh, William F. Nolan. I worked with, oh my goodness, who else I worked with? Oh gosh, Robert Sawyer. I worked with Brian Herbert, Kevin J. Anderson. Gosh, a lot of there's some new people in there who hadn't had a lot of exposure yet, but I thought their work was, outstanding enough. They needed to be in that. There was Tamara Selman, who was she was the person who set up Margin Exploring Modern Magical Realism, a website that was basically used by the Oprah Winfrey folks for their background information for the TV presentation on 100 Years of Solitude with Marquez back in 2006, I believe. So they came to their website. Since I was a consulting editor, they came to my website as well. So she needed to be she needed to be in the anthology as well. So there's a lot of really good people that touch base with in terms of working with that anthology.
Is that pretty widely available?
Yes, it is. It's also available now through it's www.baneebooks.com, and
for Dancing on the Edge of Infinity. It took 18 years to publish, and you finally found a home through Red Jack Press. Is that what was the holdup?
Well, it's like this.
Long story.
You see, I read this book many years ago called War with the Newts by Karl Popek, C-A-P-E-K.
Yes, I'm familiar.
And he's a Czechoslovakian writer. 1933 came out with that book and was an overnight success. And the book is this almost incomprehensible, funny book about when the Newts of the salamanders get really upset with mankind and, do all sorts of havoc. And the book is written in a series of notes. It's written in, it just has all these arcane facts, stuff that is sort of relevant, but not relevant, but it's incredibly funny. And I thought, hey, if he can do that and be an overnight success, no problem. Well,
18 years later.
Well, with comments like, from my editors I heard that it was garbage. One editor threw it in the trash can. Someone else liked it a lot, and it came in the top 5 of a national contest. And the comment was, we really, 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 really love the book, but we just don't know who on earth would want to publish it. It's just too strange. I'm going like, okay, Contact gets published, and I can't. Okay, and so finally, he was sitting at an editor, and he was taking his time getting back to me, and obviously didn't quite figure out what to do with it. And I met this very delightful woman at Norwestcon, and we just got hit it off. I was telling her about what I was doing, and told her about that book, and she said, this is Heidi Lampetti of Red Jack. She said, I'd kind of like to see that. So I, went back home here in Seattle, picked it up, brought it back, and she looked at it, and finally she said, gosh, I can't say anything, but, gosh, if you ever get it free or something, I'm going, I think I can probably do something about that. And before long, had the book to her, and then she took it, she published it.
Mm-hmm.
She's a wonderful, wonderful editor with a sense of humor that is just droll. It's one of the most droll ladies I have ever met. So you get it off very well, and it's a fun book. It's just a lot of fun.
Is it in print at the moment? Has it been reprinted out of print? What?
We're looking at that right now. The website is in stasis, and I contacted